Hello and welcome back to the coverage of today's World Para-Alpine Skiing World Cup. We're here in Zagreb. We're on the mountain of Sljeme, or the resort at least, 20 minutes drive outside of Croatia's capital, Zagreb. We're on the peak ridge, north slopes of the Medvednica mountain, known locally as the Bear Mountain. My name's Alan March, commentator throughout the course of this World Para-Alpine Skiing World Cup season. So plenty of action this morning. The conditions have, well, the temperatures certainly dropped. It was around about 10 degrees this afternoon when we had the first run of this slalom competition, day one. It's around about 4 degrees now. Still no snow on this Bear Mountain. As for the course, well, 920 metres above sea level. That's a finish altitude of 720 metres, so a clear drop of 200. The length of the course, some 870 metres through 61 gates, 59 of which are turning gates. So a tricky Hreveni Spust course for these athletes to fight against. You see the start position just a few moments ago. Don't forget, call your friends, tell them to watch all the action live here at Paralympic.org, and we'll start with the women's visually impaired competition. Melissa Perrine, Yang Jerim and Henrietta Farkasova, the three ladies who will take on the course in the VI section. We'll have the women's standing, women's sitting, men's VI, men's standing and men's sitting slalom events back to back as the officials get themselves ready. Interesting results this morning, which gives us some tasty battles, it has to be said, mainly in the men's section. If we're honest, the ladies competing strongly so far this morning were pretty much the names on everyone's lips when we left Austria before Christmas time. Clearly they've not delved into too much Christmas food and have returned here in Zagreb in perfect condition. Farkasova won 3 of 4 days in Kutai. She leads the VI event with Natalia Sabatova. So the Slovakian looking to add another World Cup victory here. Marie Bochet of France, brilliant again, as she was with 4 victories in Kutai. She took this morning's first run very comfortably, it has to be said. Nearly 5 seconds quicker than the rest of the field. And Claudia Loesch, who was 2 from 4 in the sit ski events in Kutai. She equally is much quicker than Switzerland's Stephanie Victor at the halfway stage. However, the men's events, they were pretty interesting and a little bit tighter, it has to be said. Kozhibov in the men's VI event, not far in front of Krakow. And then Giacomo Bertagnoli as well, also in the mix for that. The men's standing events, Jamie Stanton of the United States with the slowest of the times, but the quickest fell to his compatriot Thomas Walsh, 53.71. Arthur Barchet and Thomas Grocha are in the mix for that. And then in the men's sitting event, starting where he finished in Austria was Dino Sokolovic, but that's an interesting one with Tyler Walker, Igor Sikorsky and Jesper Pedersen, who pretty much stopped on the mountain halfway down his run. He's still in contention to pick up a top 3 place in the slalom, but that's all still to come. Going now is Melissa Perrine of Australia, who starts her clock on 104.76. Of course, the 2 times combined. And the skier with the best total time after 2 runs takes top spot. And Perrine, who won the first of the slalom events in Kutai, a DNF for her main challenger in Henrietta Fakasova. So Perrine will be very much looking to take a victory from the rest of the field here. As we say, just 3 VI competitors here on day 1 in the women's section. So the Australian working her way down. Remember that time of 104.76 this morning. She'll just want to do better than that if she can, and crossing the line here. The total time stops at 2:06.73. So Perrine asks the questions of the rest. And this is indeed Korea's Yang Jae-rim with Kyoon So-ri as the guide. Oh, what a slip! Now she's got to try and gauge whereabouts on the course she is, and the instructions here from Kyoon So-ri will be integral to whether she can continue properly. We'll take a look at the just getting that right foot too rigid, not flexing enough to make the turn. She's still on track. Doesn't appear to have missed a gate, so that's allowed her to continue this run. You can again hear the instructions from the guide. If you're just tuning in, it's the first time you've seen VI skiing, then the guides have a microphone, and the skier themselves do as well. They can communicate, but it's pretty much the guide doing all of the talking. And they're just instructing, advising where the tricky parts are, and some guides talk more than others, and just tucking down and trying to get across the line as quick as possible. 2:10.86 will mean that, barring a disaster for Fakasova, that Yang Jae-rim will indeed finish in 3rd position. Now, 31-year-old, 3 from 4 victories in the second leg of this World Cup. Don't forget the first leg was null and void, the event in St. Moritz. Weather conditions just not allowing any racing whatsoever. Whilst they had a good couple of days in the middle of that decision, it just wasn't good enough at the beginning and the end of the week to get any competitions up and running. The safety not only of the athletes but the volunteers and staff as well. But here, picking up from those performances in Kutai is Fakasova, the lady from Roznava, and her guide Natalia Surbatova. These two, like a dream team, if you will. They wear the same clothes. They have the same matching boots off the course as well. And they really are a great double act as we head towards PyeongChang. And as they head to the line, 1:59.49 is the time given. And Fakasova is the winner of the first event. Total time in the end was 2 minutes 0.75. So the women's visually impaired event ends as many would have expected. Fakasova 2.75. Melissa Perrine 2:06.73. I'm sure as the rest of this World Cup season continues, wherever Perrine and Fakasova compete, I'm sure Melissa Perrine will want to be a little closer than that, if not reversing the roles. But no stopping. The team from Slovakia, it's Fakasova and Subatova with the victory. You can catch all of the interviews with all of the winners on the social media channels. Use @ParaAlpine, which is right there in the middle of your screen, and you won't be left without your skis, or indeed all of the knowledge that you need. Next up, women's standing event. Chance for Marie Bochet to keep her winning run going. Every event in Qatar, all 4 of them went her way. And I'm sure after that first run this morning, it will be hard. Oh, Ursula Marimon. Yep. Well, she is as frustrated as anybody. You can see right there, beating the snow. Pure frustration from Marimon. And just there, just the left leg. Not able to manoeuvre the rest of the body. And she's potentially in a bit of pain as well. It's difficult for Marimon. Didn't finish the slalom event in Qatar. Didn't start the second one either. And, well, that will be a great source of disappointment for the Spaniard as we move on to our second competitor. That's Ilma Kazazic of Bosnia and Herzegovina. Became the first female to represent her country at a Winter Paralympics. And skiing, part of the giant slalom out in Sochi. Finished both of her slalom events in Qatar as well. She may not be the quickest of the athletes on the course, but she's one of those that you know is really giving it her all, and fighting with not only the course but her own impairment to make sure that she is at the bottom of that run without having a face full of snow. Zazic from Sarajevo. Moving nicely through here, just a hefty little sideways slide there. Really having to work those skis through the final gates. Oh, she's going to miss one, is she? No, desperately trying to get inside, and you can see the disappointment as she got to the very final gate. But she's made it through. 2:48.59 is the time so far. And Kazazic waits to see if she indeed missed a gate or not in that closing stage of her second run. Melania Corradini is on now. Melania time earlier was 1:13.66, some 9.5 seconds quicker than Kazazic, the 30-year-old. Again, just the use of the right arm. Skis for Sportex all back at home. The silver medal winner in the Super G at Vancouver. hasn't shown that sort of form since then. Picked up a couple of World Championship medals going into those games in the 09 World Champ Series. 4 in total, in fact. She was dominant that year. Across the line she comes then. Corradini, 2:26.05. Kazazic's time in the end was 2:48.59. Anastasia Gorasheva. Corradini's official time 2:26.05. So some 22.5 seconds ahead of Kazazic. "21-year-old here. Originally from Moscow. Student. Yeah, those gate poles just being battered away. Skiers just making sure that both of their skis go the right side of those poles. And this is one of the steep drops into the finish. And whilst you want to maintain some speed, you've got to really control it, because whilst it may not look so much on your TV, I've been to the bottom of that final section and really steep into the finish line. So if you really want to go quick, there's the opportunity, but the gate's just a little bit further spread apart this afternoon. Elena Krata up next. Koroseva's time 2:27.09, so not as quick as Corradini. Krata just 21. Went 1:12.03 this morning, or this afternoon should I say. Under the floodlights here in Zagreb. The physical therapist from St. Gallen going well into the final drop then. Another of our single leg skiers. And through the line, 2:26.08. She takes a tumble after the line, but she won't mind that so much. But she's outside of Corradini's time. So Melania Corradini continues to lead the way. Mel Pemble. Youngster we didn't see in Kutai, but we are getting 2 runs from her at the first attempt. 17-year-old. Competed at the World Cup final last time out. Being held in Canada, of course, this year. Pemble just, again, the singular use of a pole in the left hand. Into the bottom section then. 2:26.05 is achievable from here. No mistakes from Pemble as she comes towards the line. 2:25.54. And Mel Pemble leads this World Cup event. 0.53 ahead. Just 4 to come. There's potential for a podium position there. But Maria Papulova is one of those to come, and she's so quick. Really throws the bottom half around these gates. A third place in the second slalom event in Kutai. And the 35-year-old will be keen to get another top 3 finish. Papulova, Turgeon and Smazova were very close, whilst none of them being able to match Boucher. Pemble's time is 2:25.52 in total. It looks like Papulova is well inside that. 2:11.93, and 13.5 seconds quicker than the young Canadian. Frédéric Turgeon now. Turgeon chasing the time now set by Papulova. Just 18 from Montreal. Skis for Club de Ski Mont-Tremblant. Sure, club coaches are watching on as she misses out on top position here, 2:13.20, which means that Papulova is guaranteed a podium finish, and Turgeon needs a mishap from either Smazova or Boucher. This is the Slovakian up first. Just getting a couple of incidences of 1 foot off the ground, but she's coping with it well. The 27-year-old from Zelina. Again, just the use of the pole in the right hand. Impairment is that she was born without her left hand, so something she has coped with from birth, and here is coping with the course very well as well. Just getting a little sideways as she comes towards the line. It'll be tight, but 2:10.56. So Smazova moves to the top. But with just one to come, and that one just happens to be Marie Boucher. You see the bib says leader, and she's the event leader, i.e. the slalom. And powering her way through, has looked unstoppable so far, and well, chosen as the flag bearer for France at the opening ceremony of the Games just recently. They clearly have big hopes for a big medal tally from the 23-year-old from Chambéry. And this is phenomenal. Just outside of 2 minutes, but much, much quicker than the rest of the field. And, well, Marie Boucher, 8.77 seconds quicker than anybody else. She takes the standing title. I'm sure we won't leave you hanging around for long before our next event. So that is the women's visually impaired event and the women's... Hi, how are you guys? She was going to yawn for a second there, she didn't. The women's standing event has gone as well. We've got the women's sitting event to come. Just the two athletes deciding to take part here on day one of the women's sitting event. Stephanie Victor, representing Switzerland on this occasion, and the great Claudia Loesch as well. See some of the ladies at the bottom, including the race winner and event leader, Marie Bochet, just chatting away. If anybody's lost a glove, it's there on that post. Kazazic of Bosnia, chatting away. Don't forget, at Alpine, you want to follow all of our social media channels. You can join us on Facebook, Instagram. These people already follow us. Big fans of para ice hockey as well. Yeah. Watching on. See in the background there, a couple of sit-ups. One of our waiting athletes. That's the way to pass the time. So this is Stephanie Victor. Spazova coming second in the standing event, but smiling away nonetheless, happy to pick up the points. Stephanie Victor then, 48 years of age. Has represented the United States, of course, in the past, but skiing here for Switzerland. Married to Marcel Kronen. She's a motivational speaker in her spare time, and potentially going to appear at her 5th Winter Games, having competed back in 2002, getting a bronze in the downhill on that occasion. As for slalom, gold in 2006, silver 2010. So certainly knows her way around a slalom course. Clattering these last couple of gates. Victor trying to get near the great Claudia Loesch in terms of time. There were over 6 seconds between the two of them this morning. What can Victor come up with here? Former slalom world champion back in 2009 and 2004. And the great Victor crosses the line, 2:19.61. Claudia Loesch is already out on the circuit. 29-year-old has a good time buffer between herself and Victor from this morning. Will not want to slip up in terms of the competition standings. So we're looking to pick up those maximum points possible. We're bashing our way through the gate poles here in Zagreb. Carving her way through the snow. And Loesch trying to make short work of this. a nothing season in 15-16 due to that car crash, so really starting to fight back. Downhill world champion in 2015. And through the line, 2:07.67. And there's a lady who, when we get to PyeongChang, that'll be her 4th Winter Games. And she'll be looking to add medals, as she has done in the past. Well, now we can see the wood for the trees. Claudia Loesch, 2:07.68 in front of Stephanie Victor, 2:19.61 in second position. That is the women's standing event completed. That is the 3 women's events done and dusted for day 1 here at the Zagreb-Sljeme resort of Zagreb. And we'll move on to the men's event very shortly. Men's visually impaired event to come first. Come first in that will be Damir Mizrak of Croatia. And there he is, centre of the starting area, chatting away with his guide. So, Luka Debajak, the alongside Damir all the way. Another of these athletes who talks about just improving his own performances and getting closer to the rest, is what he told me back in Austria. Just want to get my times closer to the rest of the field. The more he competes, the more he trains, the more he has opportunity to be on the circuit, the closer he should get with natural ability as well. So Mizrak and Debajak. At 1:06.90 this morning, he wasn't far behind Australia's Patrick Jensen. He finished both of the slalom events okay. When he was in Austria before Christmas. 10th and a 6th. Oh, he's gone out here. Well, was just about to say that he'll want to complete both days here on his home course, and well, that hasn't been the case for Damir and Luka. Just take a look at the replay here. There's a sudden stop, and I just wonder whether he knows he's missed a gate a little bit higher up there. Patrick Jensen, he's already out on the course. 21-year-old from Newcastle in Australia. Partner Alicia Gomez. His guide, so Christian Geiger. In fact, it's not Christian Geiger is on the start sheet. It's actually Lara Falk who's the guide for Patrick Jensen. The Australians coming towards the finish. Jensen's time. We'll give him the lead in the competition for a few moments at least. Next on the course, bid number 27 belongs to Hwang Min-yu of Korea. Year-old maneuvering through with Kwon Sori as the guide. That's incorrect on our sheets as well. The guide here will be Yo Jae-hyung. And, well, two of them just pretty much coming to a standstill there, and that's because they're making their way off the course. So difficulties for the Korean pairing. And that's our second DNF of 3 athletes so far in the men's VI event. So Hwang Min-yu goes. Is Gerno Morgenfurt of Austria. Experienced in years of age, but not so much in competition. Will join the, or will become 53 during this World Cup campaign. Oh, a little slip from the 52-year-old. Ian Christoph Meiner manoeuvring down steadily at the moment. A couple of decent 5th place finishes for Bruno during that home debut. I'm sure wife Susan and son Ralph will be paying close attention to Gurno's exploits here as he crosses the line. 2 minutes 2:15 is what we're given. It's actually put down to 2 minutes 63. So Maciej Krezel of Poland, his guide is Anna Ogarzinska. Pretty quick so far. It's down in 5th position after the morning run. Krezel, we believe he can do better. 26-year-old. You hear the pair of them talking to each other. Into the bottom section then. Krezel and Ogarzinska. In towards the line. Krezel 159 was given originally. If that is the case, yeah, 158.17 in fact. I just wondered at the end of that whether he'd actually missed the last gate, but sure the officials will pick up on it if he did so. This is Ivan Frantsev, one of our neutral para-athletes here on the circuit. Frantsev, who normally would have his sister to talk to on the circuit. She's not competing here. The 26-year-old. Going well so far. He wants to be inside 158.17. In towards the line, and well, he's 4.25 seconds in front of Krezel. 3 to come then. Frantsev needs a mistake from Bertragnoli, Krakow or Rekozhubov. But will he get one? This is Giacomo Bertragnoli. Here, guy Fabrizio Casal. In towards the finish then, and it's going to be tight. 152.60, and he leads. Bertragnoli goes to the top. Jakub Krakow now. Branislav Brosman is Krakow's guide. Seven-year-old. It's through the flatter section here. Just got to try and keep the speed going that you've earned from the last part. Into the final section, that 153.35 is what Krakow needs. Through the last gate, and the guide was slowing to see where Krakow was. He was actually closer to him than he thought, and he's inside the time here, 151.50. Valery Rekozhubov. Rekozhubov with guide Evgeny Geroyev. It's Evgeny's job here to take this neutral para-athlete down as quick as he can. Pick out the right line for him. Krakow 151.50. Oh, big slide here from Rekozhubov. And will that be costly? 1.5, 150. It seems to be slipping away. And Jakub Krakow has the victory. Rekoshubov is away behind. 1.41 the difference. There was a big slide towards the end. And Jakub Krakow takes it for Slovakia. Well, drama at the very end there. Valery Rekoshubov had a bit of a buffer on Jakub Krakow after the first round, but it was a mistake from Rekoshubov right towards the end of his run. Was a little slow through sections as well, that didn't help him, but costly enough to allow a victory for Jakub Krakow and Branislav Brosman. The team from Slovakia take it. You can see the discussions continuing between the athletes at the bottom and the guides, of course, as well. That's a figure of Martin France, you could see just hovering between the start gates a couple of moments ago. He will go first in the men's standing event. It's thumbs up, no matter what. Some of the athletes and some smiley, happy faces. So Martin France, as we mentioned, the Slovakian. Been a good day so far for Slovak athletes. Victories in both of the VI events so far. Well, the men's standing event. Good little tussle between Walsh, Bochet, Grocha. Those three should give us a very exciting finish to the competition. Athletes hanging around at the bottom to watch the rest of the athletes come in. Slight delay out on the course. Once again, you can follow us at Alpine for all the information you could possibly need. Don't forget the World Cup moves to Slovenia next, Kranjska Gora to be more precise, Vasonas in Switzerland, Tignes in France, and then we're off to Kimberley, Canada to finish in February, and then obviously everybody's travel plans move towards PyeongChang as Martin France's travel plans go downwards, down this mountain here. That's of Slovakia. The first to go in the men's standing event. "33-year-old, originally from Chopanovo. Born with underdeveloped upper and lower limbs, so unable to use the pole in either hand. It's all about the shifting of his weight between the lower part of his body. Really using that strength to manoeuvre through the posts, and in comes Martin France. 59.94 is the time shown. Second out is Robin Kusch. What's that? 59.70 this afternoon. The 19-year-old from Neuchâtel. Just correcting himself there. Nearly lost the left side as he fought back. Just leaning back ever so slightly at times, and that's costing him. And this time out, it's just losing the footing underneath his left ski. And there's nothing he can do now other than come to a stop in the finish area. But he's missed the last few gates, and Kusch hopefully is okay. He looks to be, and you're just there. Just goes from underneath him. Doesn't keep one of those skis flat enough. And the right foot just goes from underneath him. In fact, the left foot, sorry, goes from underneath him. And down comes Robin. And out. Now, Jordan Brossan. Brossan, 24 years of age, representing France. Skis for a club in Lyon. He made his debut back in 2014, so this would be a first Winter Games for him, should he be selected. Brossan chasing down a 159.94 from Martin France. Oh, and struggling at exactly the same position as Robin Kusch. And well, he'll come across the line. It's much slower. He had to fight his way back up to get through the gate. Oh, and there's a little bit of trap towards the end of the circuit then. And that will be interesting for all of the competitors to come. See Jordan just slamming his poles into the ground. This is James Whitley. Cheerful, lively character in the food hall a little bit earlier on. With the likes of Jasper Balkian and his teammate Andy Barlow. Oh, just losing it a little here is Whitley, but recovers enough to aim for the line, and he's put himself in front for now. 158.44 is the official time. So James Whitley moves to the top of the leaderboard for a few moments. Michael Brugger. Brugger from Switzerland. "35 years old now. Again, vastly experienced, going back to 1998 in terms of competition. Silver medalist back in '98 as well. Downhill goal, or silver should I say, in 2009 as he dips across the line here, 1:58.97. He's outside of Whitley's time. Alexei Bugayev should be next out. That was him leaving. This is him now. Bugayev. Went 58.15 this morning. Got a victory in the first slalom event in Kutai a couple of weeks back. Just a little bit scrappy through that section at the top of the drop. The home straight drop, but he's very quick. 1:52.59. He's 5.5 seconds quicker than Whitley on this run, and that will put some pressure onto a lot of the people going. This is Australia's Mitchell Gawley. Chasing down on Bugayev. And, well, Gawley fighting to go around this gate here, as you can see, right at the end section as well. And raises his arms, then he does himself a mischief at the bottom as well. I can't confirm, but we are getting some reports of a few disqualifications potentially in the men's VI event. So we'll come back to that. I did say that I felt a couple of people had missed the last gate, which was interesting, and that is potentially what has happened. This is PyeongChang from Switzerland. And Theo is looking to get as close as he can to that wonderful time of Alexei Bugayev. Mitchell Gawley getting to the bottom of the course, and he eventually will finish in 5th, or at least he is at the moment. Ymer trying to chase down that 1:52.60. He'll be outside as well. I did say it was a exceptionally good run from Bugayev. Santeri Kiveri of Finland now. Kiveri's time earlier, 56.63, 4/10 of a second back on Thomas Field, who will be up next. Through the line goes Kiveri, the 17-year-old, finishes 154.78. So it is Thomas Field next. I mentioned earlier, turned 31 on New Year's Day, and here he's turning to try and resurrect his run. He's managed it by all accounts. Not this time around. Well, Field, is he going to carry on? Yeah, he believes he was inside the gate, so we'll third time lucky. One mishap, one tumble. And why give up? Ah, well, eventually, I think Thomas Field has had enough of that one. It's just not your day sometimes. Alexander Alyabayev. Well, that was the first. He was well within the gate on that occasion. Had another mishap some 7 or 8 gates later. But not to be for him. Alyabayev, can he put the pressure onto the two Thomases and Arthur Balchet? Alyabayev, another of our NPA athletes, a 4th and a 2nd in Kutai, so he's a danger when it comes to top placings. Into the final section, 152.60. Can't displace Bugaev. He's down by 0.37. So, well, the neutral athletes hold position 1 and 2 here. Martin Wirtz. Can he go faster? And Alexei Bugaev. There's no doubting he'll want to. Got to keep this sort of speed up, but this is good from Martin Wirtz so far. $152.60. Eyes on the clock, bottom right. Wirtz across the line. Oh, 152.39. He's done it. Martin Wirtz is top of the leaderboard, 0.21 quicker than Bugaev, who now sits in 2nd. Grocha of Austria to come. Then it's Balchet. Then it's Walsh. .24-year-old here. Oh, he's just struggling and he's gone. Oh, and you can see the disappointment. Screams at himself. And Thomas Grocha, so disappointed. Just there. Just there. Caught the gate all wrong. Couldn't cut back onto his right-hand side. And Thomas is gone. Arthur Balchet now. 17-year-old who caused an absolute storm at the World Championships in Treviso at the beginning of 2017. Gold in the slalom, gold in the giant slalom, silver in the Super G as well. Didn't look at his absolute best in Kutai, but he was second fastest this afternoon, chasing down on Thomas Walsh. And now he's got to find a time better than 1:52.39. Oh, into the bottom section, a bit sideways. Bolshe, he's still potential. It's going to be tight. Oh, he's going to miss it. 1:52.56, and again, you can see the disappointment, and Bolshe looks up to the sky here in Zagreb, and it looks as if he'll miss out, but not by much. He's second, 0.17. He's ahead of Bugayev. And this man here will want the glory. Walsh. 22 years of age. Bib number 36 here. He had a slight advantage. Nearly a second on Bolshe. But there's been some great times in these second runs. But there's been some accidents as well. Walsh, he wants 1:52.39. He's going to have to put his foot down on the final section. Oh, I think he's slow as well. He misses out by 0.5, which might mean he's outside the top 3 as well. Well, while we sort that out, this is Julien Ernst, who was 60.08 this morning. I'm just going to take a look at the final results very quickly. And Thomas Walsh has come fourth. He was behind Bugayev. What a great second run, by the way, from Alexei Bugayev, who, without a poor first run, probably should have dominated this event. But that's the point. 2 good runs, and that's what Martin Wirtz has had. Well, he was fourth after the first run, Martin Wirtz. He was only second quickest in the second run, but it's enough to take the title. Coming through, Julien Ernst of Austria finishes in 2:01.54. This is Jonty O'Callaghan out on the course for Australia now. Year-old. This is for Mount Buller Race Club. Coached by Christian Geiger. Born with that paralysis on his right side as John Tien affects his use of a pole in that side of the body and comes through in 2:02.46. Just 3 more to come in the men's standing event. This is Davide Bendotti, 23-year-old. originally introduced to the sport by Italian para-alpine skier Luca Carrara. Bendotti moving through the final stages of his second run, 2:05.23. Mr. PyeongChang. Next up, 25-year-old. PyeongChang's run 1:03.17 this morning. Plenty of DNFs from PyeongChang in good tie, so was delighted to make it all the way down. And he's going to make it all the way down for a second time in one day. 2:06.84. So Jasper gets to the finish. And the final athlete under the gates in the standing event is James Stanton. His proper title. A 3-year-old from Rochester Hills in Michigan. Now we're living in Aspen in Colorado. Stanton just plowing his way through. Oh, just fighting his way back towards the course here. Made the mistake, and morale goes as well as the head. He's picked up his dream job of working in the city, in Wall Street. And whilst that might not be a dream rundown, he can rest easy knowing that outside of skiing, it's going pretty well. Just there. Big collisions with a few of the gates, and well, whilst he comes back up and goes through one of them, there's all sorts of questions as to whether he even made it through a few of those gates. But Martin Wirtz certainly did. 1:52.39. Artur Borchet into second. Alexei Bugayev with a tremendous run, clearly the fastest of the second runs, but not enough to pick up the victory. And we'll move on to the sitting event in just a few moments' time. So Slivnik will be first to go. And that is, of course, where we move to next up. So you see the start area. Just pausing before our final event, and potentially an event that could be won by one of the locals here. Great first run from Dino Sokolovic of Croatia. Won the last event in Austria and leads the first event here in Zagreb. Just maybe, we can first up, Slovenian, and it's not lasted long at all in the very early stages of the second run. It doesn't end well for Slivnik. So that will give us a slight delay before our second athlete. And well, Slivnik looking on, rather annoyed, as you can imagine. That's the way it goes. Just here, just left his left arm in. And the gates can be extremely unforgiving. A little wide from Sawyer. Australian fights hard to get back on track. 39-year-old from Melbourne. Sawyer now a little bit more steadier through this middle part. And you'll see into the bottom section now. That time from his first run, 105.17. Had a nasty fall at the World Champs in Treviso. Dislocated his shoulder, broke his collarbone, and broke 12 ribs during the fall. He's been out for a long time, and now starting to return. So, Walnut, Austria. Oh, and another struggling early doors here. Slivnik already gone. Walnut battling on. 30-year-old. Got a daughter called Elena. He spends most of his time in Innsbruck now. To hand cycling and basketball as well. Debut World Cup event for Simon Valner. Just make his way into this bottom section. First run of 103. He is in front as people are waving on in the foreground. And Walnut leads for now by 0.7 of a second from Mark Sawyer. Next then is Alex Cairns. 25-year-old from Vancouver, now based in Squamish. Athlete born with spina bifida. Cairns working hard to maintain his line where possible. Through he comes. 2:06.18 for Alex Cairns. Only took up the sport when he was 17, so here he is at 25, competing in the World Cup. Now Han Sang-min, '38-year-old from Seoul, Korea. He was denied a chance to compete in Sochi due to a shoulder injury. I'm sure that's something that he wants to put right. He's played national wheelchair basketball as well. The Korean team failing to reach the 2012 Paralympic Summer Games. He was part of the team that won the Asian Para Games in Incheon in 2014. You're looking to get inside this time of 2:06.18 by Cairns, but he's just struggling in this final section. Needed to keep the speed going, and he's lost quite a lot of momentum in the final stages. So from the court to the slopes, an all-round sportsman. But it's not a day for Han Sang-min. Rachterhofer. Quite slow and laboured through parts of this course at the moment. And Rachterhofer went 60.71 in the first run. Seven quick guys to come. The seven that were inside the 60-second marker this morning. Rachterhofer chasing down a leading time for now. '26-year-old. Into the final few gates then. 2:02.61, he leads for now. .57 seconds clear of Alex Cairns' time. So Rachterhofer has the lead. For how long? Next up is Johan Taboulet. '36-year-old Moslin. Bronze and silvers at World Championship level. 2011. Silver in the slalom event. So he is a real danger to podium places. big slide there and gets himself aerial off the blue pole, and out goes Johan Taboulet. He just knew he'd missed a gate and allowed himself to drift off the course to the side. So Taboulet goes. René Di Silvestro just there. Just gets all aerial and, well, doesn't even try and continue. So it's the Italians' turn next. René Di Silvestro. .21-year-old. Just leaving the course for a second, but continues to clatter his way through. There were 5 quicker than him this morning, but get yourself to the top and see if everybody else manages to finish. That's certainly got to be your first port of call. Make sure you get to the bottom. Oh, that's exactly what Di Silvestro has not managed to do. The ski there, you can see on the right-hand side, sliding down independently from the rest of the mono ski. And that's the Italians' day done. One of the course assistants will retrieve the ski, and well, even when he started sliding, there was a potential that he might get back up, but the mono ski departing itself from the vital part, and that is now being retrieved by one of the coaches as well. So down at the bottom, the ones that have already gone, discuss perhaps those to come. Just in the background, if you look hard enough, you can see the course leader, or the competition leader, Dino Zagolovic. This is Di Silvestro getting some running repairs. Just needs to reattach that ski so that he can be brought to an upright position, and there we go. He'll make his way down to the bottom. But his race is run, looking on, as we all are. Nervy time. As we said, just, you know, from Marcus Wachterhofer's point of view, get to the bottom and see how the rest do. Again, you can see, look, Sokolovic in the background a moment ago, just head down, deep in thought and maybe concentration. And this is Frédéric Francois Taboulet, his compatriot, going out in the second run. Frédéric Francois, 40 years of age. They have an experienced set of sitting skiers, do France. Francois. Right. Let's get the sport. Having had spinal injuries after a snowboarding accident in 2011. Just wanted to continue the buzz and the feel of the snow beneath him. And that's what mono skiing allows so many in this classification. He missed out on the 2010 games due to an injury. It is part and parcel of most sports, and thrill seekers like skiers and snowboarders are not exempt from that. Good run here from Francois. 1:55.28. He leads with just 4 to come. 7.33 seconds quicker than Wachterhofer of Austria. France have the lead. Norway, Poland, USA and Croatia to come. This is the man that, well, was absolutely superb in the opening couple of days. The slalom gave him a little bit more difficulty in Kutai. But there's no doubting that Jesper Pedersen, just 18, originally from Bergen in Norway, there's no doubting he has real talent and a real potential to pick up medals, potentially golden medals in PyeongChang. But he is a danger to the rest of these athletes in this World Cup series as well. He's shown that already. He's showing it again here. 155.28. That's where Francois got a little sideways earlier. Pedersen looking good though. Into the final few gates then. Towards the finish. He leans forward. He's outside. 156.94. Francois remains top. Would be highly unlikely that Pedersen would be on podium positions here. Igor Sikorsky. Poland with the potential to finish in the top three. He was third after the first run, behind Tyler Walker. Not by much. Just over 0.2 of a second, in fact. The 27-year-old now knows that Francois' time, of which he was a good 2 seconds quicker this morning, is very much achievable. 155.28 to guarantee a top three finish for Igor Sikorsky. Represented Poland in PyeongChang. And Sikorsky goes top, 150.118. He's put 4 seconds between himself and the rest of the field here with 2 to go. This is Tyler Walker. What you always get from Walker is an explosive looking run. Very aerial in his approach. It's something that makes him a little bit more different to maybe the rest of the field. He just seems to bounce through the course. And how he maintains it sometimes is unanswerable. But Walker gets a great deal of success from his style. And who's to argue? 31-year-old. Originally from Hanover, still in New Hampshire. And here he comes. He's outside. 152.38. I'll just confirm the times. 152.38 here. Might just leave Tyler Walker outside a top three finish potentially here. Sikorsky stays top. Sokolovic. But Walker goes second, so that's fine for him. Sikorsky stays first, 151.18. Can the Croatian cruise to another victory? Won the final slalom event after coming third in the first slalom event in Kutai. Was desperate to do well in front of a home crowd. His family, his wife, they'll be watching on. Sokolovic a little wide there, 151.18. Here's the challenge into the final gate. Tucks himself in. Oh, that's going to be tight. 151.44. Is that the time given? 151.44 will push him into second, it looks like. And it's indeed victory for Sikorsky. And I think Sokolovic knows it. 0.26 the difference. Sikorsky from Sokolovic from Walker. And it's Poland with the victory in the men's sitting event. Great stuff from Igor Sikorsky, who takes the final event on day number 1 here in Zagreb. Well, Marie Bochet dominant in the women's event. As per Katai, the men's events have thrown up some surprises all over the place. And we're not even 100% sure that we have an official result in the men's VI event just yet. While some of the nocturnal animals come out to play from all of us here at the World Para-Alpine Skiing World Cup, whilst the athletes wait for their results, we wish you a good night. Make sure you join us tomorrow for some more action here from Zagreb on day 2.